which means they edited it to make it look like this toast was at the end of the first day, but it wasn't. Netflix, you think you're slick? I'm on to you. Well, hello there. It's your favorite lover girl, MontilaTequila. And this is Pillow Talk, that time of the week where I invite you into my bed and yap your little ear off. I'm in my lover girl era, as you can see. And what's the special occasion, you might ask? Well, Love is Blind, of course. Babe, wake up, they just dropped a new season. You see, your girl has recently sworn off dating and taken a vow of celibacy, as I'm a born-again virgin. But as a hopeless romantic and a simp at heart, I gotta get my fix somewhere. I am reviewing this show episode by episode. So as of now, I've only watched the first episode. So please, no spoilers. No goddamn spoilers. I don't want no fucking spoilers in my comment section. Okay, if you spoil this show for me, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna be so pissed. I've gone through so much trouble. Well, not a lot of trouble. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Love is Blind, it's basically just like a popular Netflix reality TV show. The show itself promotes itself as like an experiment where they like take like single men, single women that all live in the same like metropolitan area who are like looking to fall in love and get engaged all before meeting each other, like seeing each other in person. The way that it works is it takes about like 15 men, 15 women. And for like about 10, like the first 10 days, the men and women are basically doing like this like speed dating, like in these pods. And in the pods, like they're separated by a wall, so they can't see each other. So they're like basically talking through a speaker. And after like the 10 days, like if you connect with somebody, you propose, and if they accept the engagement, then like they have the reveal, and like that's where you get to see the person for the first time after you're already fucking engaged. And then you go on a honeymoon for like a week, and then after the honeymoon, you're living together like in an apartment that's provided by the show. Like I guess it's like a neutral space. You're living together for like 3 weeks, and at the end of the 3 weeks, there's a wedding. And at the wedding is when you decide whether you say I do or I do not, and like whether you're going to actually get married. Very, very messy show. Very, very messy premise. Also, side note, these weddings are like legal marriages. So like you're literally getting married to this person that you've only known for at most a little bit over a month. And it's all ultimately to answer the question, is love blind? Spoiler alert, it's not. I'm just kidding. Mostly. Now, do I believe love is blind? Well, I'm sure if you asked any of my friends, they'd say I must be blind based off of the men that I've dated. Me personally, I believe I'm more of a personality type of girl. Take with that what you will. I do believe that physical attraction does play a role, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that doesn't look the same to everyone. You know, they recently posted the casting call for the next season of Love is Blind, and I believe it's Miami. And my friends are trying to get me applied because they think I'd be so good on, you know, reality TV. But with my luck, I would end up the season's villain. Like if I agree to get engaged, and those doors slide back to reveal some 5-foot man, I think I might throw up. Okay, you know what? That sounds kind of bad. Look, I'm a tall girl. I'm a big girl. I'm a big woman. Okay, I'm 5'9". Like you don't gotta be 6 foot. I mean, I would prefer someone a couple inches taller than me, but you at least gotta be the same height. Okay, I could do the most, like maybe an inch or two shorter, but 5 foot, I'm gonna pick you up and swing you around. I'm trying to think of what that would look like. Like, I work with a lot of short people, and it's just giving child. It's giving grow up. Like, why are you so short? Explain yourself. It's giving suspicious. It's giving Napoleon. It's giving you're gonna have a complex. It's giving I can't wear heels. It's giving people who are gonna think you're my child. All jokes aside, the potential of me not finding my partner physically attractive is there. And, you know, I'd have to battle with that. But also the potential of my partner not finding me physically attractive is also there. And I think that might be worse. I clearly haven't gone through enough therapy to be on a show like this. But it also seems as like neither have most of the people on these types of shows. But we're not here to find out whether I believe Love is Blind. We're here to find out whether these contestants believe Love is Blind. So let's get into it. The show starts off with like the men and the women being greeted in their own quarters because clearly, obviously they're separated because they're not allowed to see each other. They're greeted by Nick and Vanessa Lachey. I'm not the biggest fan of Nick and Vanessa. To me, they're kind of corny. Like, they're just not very entertaining hosts for me anyway. If you like them, that is on you. You are totally allowed to have bad taste. That is your right. We didn't need this. We didn't need Nick pretending not to know what a situationship is. Really, Nick? That's clearly what you and Vanessa were in when she gave you that ultimatum. And then you guys got married. I don't believe for one bit you don't know what a fucking situationship. Vanessa, we can pretend to be in a situationship later. Girl, wrap it up. I'm over it. So anyways, after the pointless intro, they get into the pods. And our first real date that we get to see. Oh my God, I just realized I'm not wearing my earrings. Fuck. You guys are fake. How do you not tell me I wasn't wearing my earrings? That is ridiculous. Like, they go with the theme and everything. Like, you guys are haters. You don't want me to live my best life. That's fucking ridiculous. I'm over it. I should end this video right now. So basically, one of our first dates that we really get to see is between Ashley A and Tyler. Ashley A, she is 31 and a marketing director. She seems like a nice girl. She seems like a baddie. She has a good head on her shoulders. She has a nice vibe about her. Ashley A says that she is ready to get married. Mostly she said that she wants to get married because her parents got divorced when she was 6. And her mother had remarried, but didn't go as well. And she actually hit it off very well with Tyler. They had a very cute first interaction, first date. They were vibing. I could definitely see them ending up together. So next we have Nick D. He's 28. He's a real estate agent. And he is a smooth talker. Literally, that's all I wrote down in my notes. Smooth talker? Fuckboy ? By the way, the D stands for Dorka. His name is Nick Dorka. So I know his ass was getting bullied. Oh, absolutely. Nick Dorka knows how to talk to the ladies. He knows the right things to say. He plays very well off of other people. Very charismatic. It's hard to gauge just how genuine he is, especially when he's having conversations and he's coming on kind of heavy. And it's do you really feel that way? Or are you just saying that because you're trying to make a good impression? You want me to come back. What is it, Dorka? Next, we have Leo, who is 30, and he is an art dealer. He inherited his business from his family, and he worries that women will only want him for his money. He hit it off with Hannah. Hannah is the youngest girl. She's 26, and I believe she was in device medical sales. She was. Hannah quit her job to be on this show. That's suspicious. Quit your dream job? What? She said her job wouldn't let her find love, so she had to quit. That sounds like your job didn't approve your time off, so you said, fuck you, I'm going on this show. She's like, I want to find love so bad, I quit my job. I'm dedicated. Yeah, you're dedicated to making it on this show and becoming an influencer, having some type of notoriety. I'm on to you, Hannah. I'm on to you. Also, I can tell from the moment she was on my screen, I wasn't going to like her. Don't call me judgmental or what, but I just vibe. I got that vibe. Okay, and she gave me that vibe I don't like. That's that shit I don't like. Anyways, back to Leo, our little art dealer who comes from money. And let me tell you, he hits it off with Hannah, which is kind of I was not expecting that. But right after that, it shows him talking to Brittany, right? Brittany is 32 and esthetician. In my notes, I wrote, it's giving dumb blonde. But I meant like as in it's giving legally blonde. Like I don't think she's actually a dumb blonde. I think that's like how she portrays herself. She says she wants a man that can cook because she hates cooking and the children have to eat. My girl Brittany said that she dates athletes and rock stars. Okay. And the reason why she's not married is because she loves to chase fun. So I low key feel like that was like automatically like villainous territory. Like it's giving, I'm not here for love. I'm here to find a rich man, which I feel like she could have did without the show, which leads me to believe that she's probably looking more for maybe some notoriety, maybe a little bit more access to those rich men. Because like she's a very good looking girl. She knows how to flirt. It's very villain coded, but I actually kind of like her. I kind of fuck with her. Maybe that's because not that I'm out here looking for a man with money. Well, I'm looking for a man in finance. But I low key kind of like Brittany. She seems kind of fun. She's charismatic. She's funny. She seems smart. She seems like a girl that I'd probably like vibe with. So next we have Garrett, who's 31 and a physicist. He's giving very nerdy. He's hitting it off with Taylor, who's 29 and she's a policy advocate. She's also giving very nerdy. They're cute together. Like they have a lot in common. They both played basketball. They both have careers in science. They both have science themed tattoos. Taylor said that she felt like they made like an instant connection, and it kind of felt like Garrett was feeling the same, like he was really feeling her as well. So at the end of the first day, the men and women are back in their separate quarters and they're basically like just debriefing about the day. Ashley A wrote down unicorn next to Tyler's name in her notebook because she was essentially just so impressed with what he was saying. She really seems to like him. And Tyler says that he thinks Ashley is a 12 out of 10. Nick D says that Hannah is at the top of his list. Like he seems to really be into Hannah. They did seem to have some good banter. They hit it off. It looked like it was very like superficial. Wasn't anything too deep from, what I saw. Cue the girls talking about Nick D, Mr. Smooth Talker, Mr. Charmer. Ashley W, 31, teacher, not to be confused with Ashley A, the marketing. I'm pretty sure she's a marketing director. She says that she thinks Nick D is a smooth talker, which I also said. She's also the one who was like, fuckboy question mark? Like literally, fuckboy question mark? Hannah, the one who quit her job for the show, she says she likes Nick's voice. Like he's sultry, but he might ruin her life. Is that code for big dick? Katie, 35, a marketing director, says he's so damn charming, but he's a punter and a kicker, and I can't seem to put it together. Nick seemed to have good conversations with everybody, and that's why all the women are skeptical now. So day 2, right? It starts off, we see Tim. Tim is 32 and he's a content strategist. He's sitting in the men's quarter, like in this group with other men. One of the guys compliments on his shirt and he's like, "Oh, I told you the story about this shirt, right? Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story about this shirt? Yeah, I told you the story about this shirt." So then he starts telling the story about this shirt. And apparently he says that he was talking to this girl. He was, chatting with this girl. It was one of those websites. That's what he said. It was one of those websites. But what website? Like, what kind of website was this? Like, were you paying to chat to her? Was it OnlyFans? Were you paying to talk to her? It just came off very weird because, like, what website? It was suspicious. I was sus. My interest is piqued, though. So anyway, so he's, like, talking to her and he's like, "Hey, which one of these shirts do you like?" I guess he was, like, shopping for a shirt. So he, like, sends her a couple pictures of the shirt and he shows her which one he likes. And then she's like, "Ew, that's ugly." And then he proceeds to buy the shirt out of spite. Red flag, it's giving red flag. Sir, what? You said this is the last girl that you were seriously talking to and you bought a shirt out of spite because she didn't like the color of the one that you picked out? This bright ass mustard yellow shirt? She was trying to help you out. Why ask her opinion? Why ask her opinion if you're going to get pissy if she doesn't like the one that you picked? It's giving I need screen time to let me tell this fake ass story about this shirt that I'm wearing because some rando just complimented it. But yeah, so then he goes on to talk about like how he has a hard time being understood by the women he's interested in. Sir, why don't you try talking to women that are interested in you? You might have better luck. What was the point of this? What was the point of this scene? Like, just to introduce him and this fucking yellow ass shirt? Like, I'm not believing that story one bit. It's suspicious. And there's a very lack of details. And what website? What website? This man has just gotten on my screen and I already don't like him. Also, I need to go on a side rant. I have to go on a side tangent. Okay? This show's editing annoys the shit out of me. There's just no continuity. Like, they just be clipping and cutting shit and pasting it all together all willy-nilly. They'll post something that happened on the third day, on the first day. Here, I got examples. I'm not just ranting for nothing. So because homeboy was talking about this yellow ass shirt, I'm looking at this bright ass yellow mustard shirt, right? So they clip this scene and they edit it to make it look like it's at the start of the second day. But if you look at the scene, like almost directly prior to it, where homeboy was giving a toast and this is supposed to be the end. They're making it seem like it's the end of the first. But if you look, there's the bright ass yellow shirt. So was the toast the first day? Was the toast the second day? Was the toast some day later in the week? Well, in the scene almost right after that lame ass shirt story, we see him interacting with this girl named Alex. And in that conversation, you can tell like this is not their first conversation that they've had. And he's wearing that yellow shirt. So this leads me to believe that yellow shirt he definitely did not wear the first day, which means they edited to make it look like this toast was at the end of the first day, but it wasn't. Netflix, you think you're slick? I'm on to you. Anyways, Tim gives me fuckboy vibes. Yeah, that shirt story just rubbed me the wrong way. He essentially said he had a boy's mind in a man's body. Like he was just running through these hoes. Alex, on the other hand, the girl that he's interested in, who also seems to be interested in him. Alex is really pretty. She's spiritual. She's in the horoscope. She's a Leo. He's a Virgo. Good luck. Alex says that she believes marriage is for better or for worse. Both of her parents have MS, and her father, who is married to her stepmother, he's like this 6'2", 220-pound guy, and her stepmother basically dotes on him and takes care of him now that he's like in the later stages of his MS, and she is his caregiver. Whereas her mother, who's never been married, was with the same guy for like over 15 years, I think she said. When her MS started to get so bad that she had to start using a cane, homeboy checked the deuces. That is so messed up. Alex, don't be shy. Drop his addy. Tim says his parents showed him what a healthy marriage looks like. He's never had to ask his father on what to do or what he's supposed to do. He's never questioned whether his mother loves him because his parents showed him that. He doesn't just want to get married. He wants to die married. I'm still skeptical. I don't know. There's just I guess maybe just that first impression. He just rubbed me the wrong way. So back to Tyler, who's 33. Apparently he's a nuclear security officer. Does that just mean like you patrol a nuclear center? Like, how does that work? I'm very curious. He's really feeling Ashley A. He's really feeling... Homeboy's in love. Homeboy's skipping. He jumping for joy. He kicking his little heels. She asked him how he feels about sharing passwords, and he literally gives the perfect answer. He's like, yo, like, you know, if you need to share passwords to feel more secure, if that's what you need, then that's what you need. And Ashley's like, okay. Tyler. Even when he was answering, I was like, damn, I like that type of energy. Tyler, you're growing up. I really like him and Ashley together. It's just so cute. They're vibing. So Brittany and Leo are hitting it off, which is ironic because Brittany's definitely there for money, and Leo says he doesn't want somebody who wants to pour his money. So good luck with that. So Leo's like hinting at how he has money and how he's well off and basically doesn't have to struggle and has no financial woes. And you just see like Brittany sitting on the other side of the wall, just twirling her straw in her drink, and you can just see her face. She is she's just seeing money signs, baby. Money signs. He is saying all the things she wants to hear. All the things I want to hear. He's like, oh, I told you how my family died, right? Yeah, she's like, yeah, you mentioned that. Oh yeah, I told you about how I got inheritance and I'm well off and I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's hearing cash cow. So, Miss I'm getting to the bag, Brittany, she used this as a way to like segue into, she's like, oh yeah, actually, I just want to bring up something I've just been like super like stressed about. I've just been super insecure about bringing it up. But like, how would you want to split the bills? Like, would you want to split it like 50-50 or like what? And Leo's basically like, oh, well, I wouldn't feel comfortable paying everything, but I also wouldn't feel comfortable paying 50-50 if I make more. But I just feel like if we're both paying something, then it feels like we're both invested. Brittany's like, oh, thank God. Thank God, because the other guys were like hard 50-50. And, like, I just realized, like, I just don't believe in that. Like, my girl Brittany, like, she's just a girl. And being a girl is so much more expensive than being a guy. I mean, she kind of has a point there. She kind of has a point because she's like, being a girl is just so expensive. Like, I got to do my hair. I got to do my nails. My expensive workout classes. Like, that stuff, it's expensive, And she's like, and in my last relationship, like, I was taken care of 100%. Crickets. Leo's like, basically he just tells her like it's an insecurity for him that, a woman's only going to want him for his money, and basically that he just needs reassurance that if he ever loses his job or he loses everything, that like, he won't also lose his wife. And Brittany's just like, listen, if I wanted to marry for money, I could have done that a long time ago. That would have been something very easy for me to do. And I'm like, okay, Brittany, let them know. Let them know you are a hot commodity, baby. She ain't worried about no money, okay? She's here to find love. She's here to find a man that's going to take care of her and make her a trophy wife and put her up and 100% fund her lifestyle, or she gets to do whatever the fuck she wants. Okay? That's what she's here for. What are you here for, Leo? What are you here for? That's the real question. That's what we want to know. And Leo's just like, that's validating. Like, really, Leo? This show is so unserious because he's like, oh, that's validating. And then they immediately start talking about baby names. Like, immediately. Because he says something about like, oh, well, if we ever get divorced, I'd want my money to go to the kids. Like, that's for my children. And she's like, oh, I always wanted a kid named Leo. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I want my son's name to be Leo. She's like, okay, well, what about Levi? And he's like, oh, Levi's cool. And it's just like, for someone who's very insecure about being used for their money, you sure like to talk about your money a lot, Leo. Like, a lot. Like, they show this scene where he's talking to the men back in the men's quarter. Like, during this, he also says like, oh, I'm not here for some influencer career. That's suspicious. That's weird. Yeah, Leo's bragging about like his financial situation, how well off he is, but he's like doing it in a woe is me way. Like, oh, I'm so rich, but I want a woman. I want love, and I just want a woman to love me for me. Did I mention I'm rich? I'm sorry. I'm just so well off. I've never had a struggle. I've gone to private schools. I've had the best of everything and anything. Did I mention that I grew up rich? I'm just here for real love. But did I mention that all my family died and I inherited all the money because everyone died of cancer and now I'm rich? Oh yeah, that's a side note. His dad, his mom, his stepmom, his grandma, his grandfather, they all died of cancer like within 3 years, and he's the only child. So he pretty much inherited the family business, which was a very successful art dealing business apparently, and he all inherited all the money. So he's very well off and very rich. It's giving tone deaf. It's giving, I don't know how to read a room. And apparently he's into Hannah. I'm like, where did this come from? Hannah? Really? Okay. So Leah's talking to Hannah and he's telling her, you know, what I really like about you is I just really appreciate how you just don't ever ask me about my job. You know, because like being an art dealer, you know, I get it. Like it's just such a cool job. And like, you know, you don't meet like an art dealer every day. And it's just so interesting. And so they're just like counting me. They're fucking fangirling. Like they're just on my dick. But I just really appreciate how like you're really cool about it. You're real chill about it. You don't ask about it. You don't even mention it. You haven't mentioned it. Why haven't you mentioned my job? That's so crazy. I just love that about you. And Hannah's just like, oh, well, you know, to be honest, I don't even know what an art dealer is. The reason why she's not asked about your job or being impressed by it is because she doesn't even know what the fuck your job is. She doesn't even know what your job entails. She's like, oh, okay, you sell art. That's cool. She don't know how much money you're making, but Leo has to make sure she knows. He has to make sure she knows just how well off he is getting. I'm over it. I'm done with it. Okay, Leo, do you have any other interesting aspects? Nick D says that he looks like a less buff version of Henry Cavill. Moving on. So Hannah and Nick D, they definitely seem like they have more of a superficial relationship. Their conversations seem fun and flirty, but they lack depth. They're talking about their physical appearance. He's talking about how he wants to hold her and how he touch her and how he tell her how pretty she looks all the time. It's just giving very surface level, very superficial. Hannah tells the women that she thinks that Nick D is a lot deeper than everyone else thinks. And the women don't seem to be like too convinced. Like, I don't know if it's that they don't like him. It just seems like they don't really trust him. They don't trust him in his intentions. Like they kind of like see right through his smooth talk. So Garrett and Taylor seem to be hitting it off. They are vibing, they're thriving, they're having a good time, good conversation. And they're talking about how much they like each other and how they would like to get to know each other even more. Taylor is talking about her family, like how they call her mom by their first name, not in a disrespectful way. She just has such an interesting name. And then she's like, oh, but you won't be calling my mom by her first name. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be calling her Mrs. Krause. Got it. Mrs. K. Sarah's like, well, you know, I feel like if I told you my mom's name, that it would give away my ethnicity, right? Taylor didn't necessarily have to say that. You know, she could just left it as like, oh, you won't be calling her by her first name, and then that'd be it. But then once she brought it up, okay, well, now he's going to be thinking about your ethnicity, right? That's what he said. Like, it didn't even play a part in his mind until she brought it up. And now he's like, oh, fuck, she's not white. And he just seems to like be fucking spiraling at the thought of her not being white, you know? So he tells Taylor that like, she just seems, the way she talks, it just seems so calculated and methodical, and just makes him think like, what is she hiding? This scene is a little tough for me because like, my first instinct is to think like, okay, I feel like this guy's being kind of a manipulator. He says like, oh, you know, you seem like very calculated in the things that you say. And even though I love that about you, it makes me think like, what is she hiding? You know? And it's like, okay, so do you really love that she's calculated in the way that she speaks? You think about what you say before you say it. I don't think there's anything weird necessarily about that. It seemed like, to me anyway, it was insinuated like malicious intent. I want to say upset, maybe like irritated, annoyed by the fact that she didn't want to tell him her ethnicity, and now he's like getting all defensive, like, oh, well, you're hiding something from me and blah 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 blah. Sir, it's giving, please be white. Please be white. Like, because I'm pretty sure he can tell she's not black. the way she talked, things that they talked about. He probably assumed she was white. He even said that he's only dated white women. He didn't say that he wasn't open to dating other ethnicities, but it was the fact that he's now thinking about the fact that she's not white, and like it's just bringing up these new feelings and this on a third, which makes me think like, okay, yeah, you're low-key freaking out about the fact that this might not be a white woman. So that's strange. That's weird. That's giving, I'm like, look, I'm side-eyeing Garrett now. I'm looking at you, nigga. Like, I get the nuances in like interracial dating and like, you know, just different cultures and stuff like that. And I feel like that is a good thing to talk about in the pod. Taylor says like the reason that she doesn't want to tell him like what ethnicity she is because she wants to give away as little possible as what she might look like, because she doesn't want that to have any type of sway over whether you know, they fall for each other or not. Like, she wants him to fall strictly for her personality, which I totally understand. But it's like, we live in a world where like, you know, you got to know whether someone is going to be able to vibe well with your culture or, you know, your race and stuff. A good example of that is in the next scene, it's like Tyler and Ashley A talking, right? While they're talking, it gets kind of deep as like, because he starts talking about his childhood trauma and like how his mother and how her father's side of the family disowned her because she had children like with a man that was outside of her race. So, you know, taking that back to Taylor and Garrett, I think those are good things to talk about while you're in the pods, because you don't want to be out of the pods and now this guy's fucking freaking out because you're not white, you know? Anyways, back to Tyler and Ashley. So yeah, he's telling the story about his mother and how like she got basically exiled because I'm assuming his father's black. She had children with this man that's outside of her race. So she only had her mother, and then her mother got cancer and died. He wasn't able to comfort his mother. Like, he didn't know how to. I mean, he was only 9. He remembers at the funeral that his aunts were like, they're going to tell him like, oh, go hug your mother, oh, go comfort your mother. They never really comprehended or understood just how much she was struggling. And then he starts crying and Ashley starts crying, and I think I'm going to start crying. It was just like, it was a really touching and deep moment. This show is so unserious. This show is so unserious. Leo is talking to some of the guys, like basically trying to decide between Hannah and Brittany. He feels as if him and Brittany would probably like attract each other like on the outside, because he said that she's a lot like his ex and he's a lot like her ex, but he doesn't feel like him and Hannah would even know each other on the outside or even like run into each other on the outside. So like one of the guys, he's definitely giving op. He's definitely giving, he wants Brittany, but he tells Leo like, oh, a lot of us guys would want to go after Brittany like on the outside, but like how many of the guys want to go after Hannah for her personality? Sir, what? What do you mean by that? Just like the girls don't really fuck with Nick D, Mr. Dorka, it doesn't seem like the guys really fuck with Hannah. There's a vibe, there's an air in the air that they don't like Hannah. Garrett said that he thinks that part of Hannah's personality is the fact that she's just one of the youngest girls there. And I'm assuming he's like low-key calling her immature, and I think that's like one of the reasons that the guys don't really vibe with her like that. One extra, the op, who definitely wants Brittany, he says they're two very different girls. Brittany's probably going to be expensive. And Leo literally is like, I have money. Like, sir, what? What you're saying is not aligning with what you're doing, Mr. Leo, Mr. Moneybags. So over in the women's quarters, Hannah is struggling. She's talking to the girls about Nick, and basically the girls are telling her like, yo, you need to drop him like a hot potato. You need to cut that off. Hannah's like explaining like all the reasons of why she shouldn't pick Nick. She knows that she should, if she feels that way about him, that she should cut him off and she should stop seeing him. She's like, oh, but like, I just really like him, and I still want to see him, and I just want to be with him, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's giving, I like toxic. The girl's down bad. The girl is down bad, okay? After a pep talk with the ladies, Hannah goes on a date with Nick D. And she gets straight to the business. She walks right up to that room, and she's like, so what are you here for? So what are you here for? What are your intentions? What do you want? And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, whoa. And I was just like, girl, what? Like, she just walked in that room on business, 10 toes down. She's like questioning about his intentions, and he's essentially telling her everything she wants to hear, like all the right things. He's saying all the right things, and she's like, wow, like, you articulate yourself so well, you express your feelings so well, and this and the third, but I just don't trust it. I just don't trust you, and stuff like that. And so she's going back and forth, and she's like, oh, I should just cut you off. And he's like, oh, so you're gonna cut me off? And she's like, she's fucking spiraling. So eventually she cuts him off. She feels like he's still finding himself, and he has some things to work on. And it's like, that confused me, because I'm like, what? Where is this coming from? Like what things does he need to work on? And if anything, it seems like you have a lot to work on, because you're fucking spiraling. He seemed pretty like sad about it. Like, I think Hannah was the only girl that he was talking to. He wasn't really talking to anyone else. Hannah. So there's two ways to look at this. You can look like she was just trusting her gut, and her gut feeling was telling her not to trust this guy because he's just telling her sweet nothings, and he's coming off superficial, and she thinks like he's only going to want her for her looks and all that jazz, right? Like, he's not going to actually be invested in her as a person. It's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, from, playing devil's advocate here, I mean, it's great. She's definitely insecure. But because she's insecure, I feel like she might be projecting that insecurity onto Nick. Hear me out. In the beginning, like when they were doing like the interviews, Hannah was talking about how her weight and her being like, a bigger girl is kind of a roadblock, like when it comes to dating. She doesn't think like he has a hard time getting the girls that he wants. He doesn't have a hard time on the outside being able to pull the bitches. Okay, he's a little rizzler. He knows how to talk to them. He's a smooth talker. You don't get that way by being celibate. I feel like that's like also an insecurity, where she feels like, oh, he can get any type of girl she wants, and when he sees me, he is gonna drop me like a hot potato. He's not gonna like me. He's not gonna like my body. Like, she's just like taking her insecurities and putting it off on Nick as if like he's not going to accept her. But she doesn't know that. This is like all in her head. She says it's like her gut feeling, but it really could just be her insecurities self-sabotaging. Like, she has no idea, because technically, he hasn't really given her a reason not to trust him. Like, yeah, there's some red flags. Like, he seems a little bit more superficial, but just because he's superficial doesn't mean that he won't find her attractive. What I wish she would have did was like give it a little bit longer, and maybe got to know him a little better, and maybe had those deeper conversations to see if they connect on a deeper level, and give him a chance to either prove or not prove that he's a man of his word and that he means what he says and stuff. But I think she was so scared of him not being a man of his word and being rejected by him that she rather had just cut it off and rejected him first before he had the chance to do it to her. That's my theory. Okay, that's what I'm working with. I could be wrong. I don't feel like I'm wrong, but I could be wrong. But that's just me playing the devil's advocate. Clearly, if she was already insecure and like feeling like she wouldn't be able to trust this guy, then it probably wouldn't have been a healthy situation for her either way. So after Hannah cuts things off with Nick, she goes back to the women's corner to fill them in on all the details. Literally, like right after she gets done telling them the story, my girl, Miss Brittany, Miss I'm getting to the bag. As she's like walking into the women's quarters, she's like starting to talk about her date, and she like lets Leo's name slips out of her mouth, and she's acting like, oh, like how like it was a big mistake, and like how embarrassed she is and how bad she feels for saying Leo's name when Hannah's right there and walks in like, oh my God, I have to pee so bad. I was just telling Leo. I didn't mean to say that. He been saying that the entire time. Oh my God, did I just say Leo's name? I totally didn't mean to say Leo's name. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say that. Oh my, I can't believe I just said that. I'm so embarrassed. Says it was an accident. She said she didn't mean to do it. Brittany, you ain't slick. Girl, I am on to you. I am on to you. Hannah immediately starts freaking out. She's like, fuck. Well, I don't know if she said that, but like, she was freaking out. She's like, oh, Leo's my number one. Leo's my number one. So anyway, this sends her in a mini spiral because now she knows she's not the only one who has the eyes for Leo, and Leo doesn't only have eyes for her. And she's like, fuck. She instantly starts talking about how much she regrets cutting it off with Nick. Instant regrets. Instant karma. Miss Hannah that quit her job to be here, she cannot lose her meal ticket. Her spiraling kind of makes sense because like she's like, fuck, because if Leo doesn't pick me, I'm not going to make it on the show. I'm not going to be an influencer. I quit my job for nothing. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. She talks about how like she thinks Nick might be leaving because she was the only girl he was talking to. And he said that she's his person. So he's not there for anybody else. And now she might have fucked that over. And now there's a chance that Leo might not even pick her. That's tough. All right, and that's the end of the episode. That was it. Wow, I am a yapper. I've been filming for hours. This is like a 1 hour episode. It's taken me a long time to get through this, like embarrassingly long to get through. So final thoughts on the first episode. I'm ready for them to wrap this Hannah saga up. I'm over it. I'm not a fan of Hannah. I'm not a fan of Leo. Nick, Mr. Dorka, he's all right, I guess. I feel like at this point, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of him, but out of Hannah and Leo, I guess like he's the one I hate the least. Everyone's fucking annoying. I will say that I really hope she goes back to Nick. One, I want Brittany to end up with Leo because I want to see her I like her and I want her to stay on the show longer. But also I feel like she could be the karma that Leo deserves. Hannah, yeah, I want her to go with Nick just because I feel like it'd be a train wreck. I'm here for the plot. But also I just feel like her and Nick would honestly just be a better fit. Like I don't really see it between her and Leo. I'm side-eyeing Garrett. I am side-eyeing him because he was just a little too worked up about the ethnicity thing. Like he was getting his panties were a little bit too twisted for my liking. Like I can understand like feeling like someone's like hiding something from you, but like, sir, what? Overall, I enjoyed the episode for the most part. There was like some parts that really had me laughing my ass off. I'm like, this show is so fucking unserious. It's so unserious. So I had a good watch. I'm hoping that the episodes get better and juicier as the season goes on. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys. But if you enjoyed the video, please comment down below. Please give me your thoughts. Please tell me you made it through to the end. I'm probably gonna have to cut so much shit out of this. Your girl likes to yap. I am certified yapper. Miss Yaps a lot. Like, oh my God, I'd be annoying myself sometimes. But I want you guys to drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about the first episode. Let me know what couple you're rooting for. Let's stick to episode 1, please. No spoilers. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me in bed tonight and listening to me yap your little ears off. It's been good. I really like these moments, these little intimate moments we have together. They really make my night. But yeah, like I said, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe because I read all the comments and I'm very interested in reading what you guys have to say about this one. But yeah, love you guys. Bye. So just some things that kind of stood out for me that I couldn't really find anywhere else to talk about them. I don't know if this girl's actually a prominent like person in the show. Yandy, who's 30, hates lettuce. She says that she hates everything about it. If it's on top of something, then she's not going to eat it. Like, she's just disgusted by lettuce. She does not like lettuce. And that stood out to me because that's very suspicious. Like, you don't eat a salad? Like, you don't eat any lettuce? Like, iceberg or just like romaine, like just any type? Or is there I have so many questions. Like, what's your diet like? What other vegetables do you not like? What vegetables do you eat? I know, like, this has nothing to do with the show, and she might not never be in show again. But the fact that they added that in there, even the guy that she was talking to when she said that, because she was in the pods talking when she said this, he was like, okay. And I was just like, okay, that's a red flag. Girl, go eat some fucking lettuce. Eat a fucking salad. Are you kidding me? Is that a common thing? Is that not weird? Am I the one who thought that was weird? You don't like lettuce? Okay, girl. Anyway, what did I call? Did I call it that girl Yandy? Her name is definitely Yenny. And I went on a whole side tangent about her hating lettuce, and I didn't even get her name right. It's Yenny. Her name is Yenny.